Hey guys! Oh my gosh. Words. I feel like every time I come on a live, I do this. I say how excited I am, but I am so excited. This is one of the author panels that we're doing in May as a part of our Go Live celebration for the fact that FanGrrrl Romance Recs now has a website. It's a fully functioning website with lots of really cool information. We moved all of the guides from all of the Facebook groups over to the website. It's got information for authors, members, our events, our book signing events, our live events, our merchandise, just some shirts that say fangirl on it and stuff. And let's see, it's got my emoji reviews on there. And it's just a bunch of really cool information. And then on top of that, we are currently in the works of doing a book signing event in Orlando in 2026 for FanGrrrl Romance Recs. So it's just really exciting times. And so to kick that off and to celebrate, I reached out to a bunch of best-selling authors and I said, would you guys want to come on and do panels with me in the month of May, every Wednesday in the month of May at 4 p.m. and just kind of go crazy about what's going on with FanGrrrl Romance Recs, and then also talk about their books and just have a panel for an hour. And everyone I asked was like, yes. So today we have Persephone Steele. She's the author of They Call Me Wicked. We have Angie Hudson. She's actually Angela M. Hudson on her books. And she's the author of Dark Secrets. And then we have Sarah Reynolds, and she's the author for Cheating Death. It's the House of Mar Cheese, or how I like to say, more cheese. Sorry, I just can't help it. Saga. So anyways, they're amazing ladies. So let me just go ahead and pull them on over here. Here we go. Here comes Persephone.
Hi.
Let me grab Angie.
Hello.
And then let me grab Sarah. Hey guys, and I'm gonna switch everyone around like musical chairs. There we go. That way we have the redheads in the corners. Woohoo! You guys look great. I'm so jealous of the red because, like, you know, it's
I
not
can't pull
happening
that
for me. It's not happening. So, how are you guys doing? What's going on? What's the latest? Good. Sorry, I'm grabbing. I'm distracting you while I'm distracting the viewers while I grab the comments from a window. So sorry. 1 second. So yeah. All right. Okay, we're good to go. I got all the comments. Oh wow, we have a lot already. We have Ben Lapona Moore, Chloe Van Salm, Amanda Starr, Amy Reynolds. These are all the comments going on in the big group, the FanGrrrl Romance Recs Urban Fantasy group. So very exciting. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. So where is everyone from? Where do you all live?
Australia, Perth.
Australia. So it's super early right now for you, right, Angie?
Yeah, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning.
I'm from
right
the States, so.
Where are you from, Persephone?
The States, northern Indiana. Yeah.
Indiana.
The land of the corn.
Where you have small cat-like raccoons, right?
Yes, the ones that can sit on your shoulders, and it's not weird, I swear.
That's a bit of an inside joke. And how about you, Sarah? Where are you from?
I am in Western North Carolina, in the mountains.
Oh, okay. Yes, actually, I think I knew that. We're at North Carolina.
Asheville.
Yes,
Yeah.
we talked about this, didn't we?
I think we did. Yeah. It's because I went to college. It's a popular tourist spot. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I went to college in Lee's McRae up near App State.
That's right. We talked about App State. I do remember that.
Yeah, I completely forgot, but yeah, that's right. Okay, cool, awesome. So 2 states, people, and then we have Australia. So that's cool. That's awesome. Okay. So to get started, let's talk about each of your genres, what you write, and what you're known for. So I guess I'll just start at the top, Angie, with you.
Okay. Let's see. So I'm known for the Dark Secret series, which is a vampire series. It's a really long-running series, so it's kind of hard to say what it's about because it's about a lot of things. So it's just pretty much if you like crying and you like love corners and you like vampires who kill, then, you know, it'd be something that you'd like, but it's really hard to say what it's about because it's about a lot of things. So that's pretty much all I can say.
Hard time trying to figure out where to fit you because I don't even know what genre it really is. I mean, there's vampires. It's, so it's paranormal, but it's not a typical romance at all, So yeah, so I don't know. That's good for the marketing.
dark and messed up pretty much, and that's it.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. All right, Persephone, how about you?
I mean, I write a little bit of everything, but always reverse harem. And then I'm known for my Wicked series, which is about a blind psychic detective with two seeing eye raccoons, hence the raccoons that can sit on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And she's got a stalker. So, I mean, that's what I'm most known for. So it's pretty interesting. Different, I guess. Throw it all in there.
And it's a white shoes, too.
It is. I always do white shoes for now. I mean, I'll get there eventually, but I like my white shoeses.
And me too. And Angie, you're the queen of love corners. Like, you're the queen of agony. Like your readers are like, no, because like we want both of them so bad, of course. But you do find a way to make it work in the end. An unconventional way to make it work.
Yeah, but that's why white shoes is good, because then you don't have to choose. So a lot of probably.
I keep at you, right, to write a white shoes.
Yes. One day.
All right, Sarah, how about you?
Well, I'm not known for anything yet, but someday I will be known for writing paranormal polyamory with strong females and super gay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. No, and I would say you are known. You're known for the fans that you have today, right? And you do
a little bit, I guess. Right? I mean, I'm small potatoes, but yeah, a little bit. House of Marches is it's at 3.5 books now. One more to come, so I'm almost done with my first series. And vampires, shifters, demons, dragons. It's a moving circus of stuff.
Yeah, I always say with yours, if Sookie Stackhouse was a white shoes, then that's
a lot of people say that. Yeah, I've definitely leaned into that.
Yeah, and it's funny. Both you and Persephone write such funny books. I mean, Angie, you're funny too, but they're funny. Like they write, Angie gets you crying, they get you laughing, So, it's really, really great. I loved it. I love both of them so much. So, well, how did you guys start writing?
Mine's a long story.
Nobody's watching us. It's just us, right? So
it's just us. Okay. Well, actually, it was like 4 or 5 years ago. I was in a wheelchair. I couldn't walk. I was having some medical issues. Yeah, and nobody could figure out, I guess, what was wrong with me. No doctors, nothing. And I was reading a lot at the time because obviously it was very hard for me. I think I was like, 26 at the time in a wheelchair. I was scared for my life. And I ended up getting really...
But you're not 26 right now? Because you kind of look
I'm over 30.
All right, sorry, I didn't mean to. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine. So I got really attached to Raven Kennedy's Cupidity series, and I fell in love with it, and it brought me out of a dark place for a short time. And I just remember sitting there bedridden in constant pain, not being able to walk. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to use that and create something to get away from all of this. And I ended up writing my book and releasing it the next year. And that was Defied. Nobody knows about that book except for Amy Reynolds. Apparently she loves it.
Yeah, that's right. She's been sending it to me. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but she's been messaging me with it. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
She loves it. She thinks it's hysterical.
Well, that's what I use. I use humor to kind of get out of all that dark stuff I was dealing with. I did find out what was wrong with me. I'm okay now. I'm running. Okay. So we're good.
Good. That's good. I'm happy to hear that. That's quite a story for sure. And so how many books do you have out right now? You have quite a few,
currently,
right?
Yeah, 6. Yeah.
Okay.
I got my trilogy, my original trilogy, then Wicked, and then a standalone. So yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Cool. Awesome. How about you? Let me go to Angie, because you've been writing for a little bit, right, Angie?
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, since 2007. Been a while. Yeah. So mine's a bit of a longer story, which is not very dramatic, but I was I think I was 27. I'd kind of always wanted to be a writer, but it was one of those jobs people were like, that's not a real job. You need to do something else. So I shoved it down and kind of ignored it. And then I got pregnant with baby number 3, right as I decided I didn't want any more babies. And so I was like, well, I don't want to go and work a conventional job. I'm going to need to find something I can do at home because I just want to be with my kids. And I was like, screw it. I'm just going to write. And I knew nothing. I was in bottom English in school, like bottom English, dumb class. And I didn't know what a protagonist was. I couldn't spell anything. I was absolutely terrible. And I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to just keep learning until I figure it out, and I'm going to keep doing it until I get better. And one day, maybe it'll work. And then by 2011, I was brave enough to put the book out as a blog. And I was like, at any point you can pull away, at any point, put it out there. And if you get scared and it's too much for you, just pull away. And then I put it out there and people loved it. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm doing this then. So that's how I ended up here. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I was, I actually got involved in the book world really because of Angie. So I was always a big reader, right? And I found her series Dark Secrets, and I fell in love with it, and I joined her Facebook group. And how many followers do you have on Facebook, just for your page, not the group, Angie?
7.9 thousand, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's got 7.9 thousand followers, and I joined her group, and she had like 400 people in her group. I said, the math isn't working here. Yeah. Like, why do you not have more people? She's like, well, I don't really do anything with my group, And so I got in there and I started, trying to help her out. And then she's like, do you want to be an admin? And I was like, okay. And so I started working in her group. And then I got really familiar with Facebook groups. And then I decided to open up my own book recommendation group. And then I only expected my FanGrrrl Romance Recs. Right back then, it was urban fantasy, romantasy, and paranormal romance. And I only expected it to be like 200 people. And within a year, it was 20,000.
Yeah.
And when it started blowing up, I did a voice text. You guys know me with voice text. I voice texted Angie, and I just said, I'm really sorry to have to do this, but I think I'm gonna have to step down because like the whole thing with the recommendation group is that I'm not biased. And I can't appear that I'm biased towards any one author with the groups. And she was really cool with that, And so, but we've remained really good friends, over the years. And so you had a lot to do with that with me because you're the first author that I started talking to, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Authors talk to readers. I had no idea, and they do. Look at you guys do, so it's just awesome. It's super special. So Sarah, you are, as you already said, you are new. Like when did you publish your first book?
The first book was it was published December 14th, 2022. So yeah, we're coming up on 2 years in December.
Yeah.
So I just actually hit the date of 2 years from when I started the first book. I started on May 1st and I got it out in December for the first book. And for me, it was I'm a bit older than you guys are, and my kids are grown and out of there. Yeah, I'm 52. I am quite a bit older than you.
That's not too. I'm in my 40s. I mean, you're not that much older.
Yeah. I know, but
we're not all 26 like Persephone.
I'm over 30, Rebecca.
She does look like a baby, though, a little bit.
Okay. I still get carded for spray paint and lighters.
Spray paint and lighters. My goodness, what are you doing?
Oh, well, not at the same time. We don't talk about that. Yeah.
Here's to be what we did when I was little. But I was kind of coming into a different phase of life. I have been the director of a multimedia studio. I have been a teacher and mom to 2 kids who are now grown and out on their own. I'm about to be a grandmother.
Wow, that's awesome.
I know. And I was just looking for my joy, and so I read a lot really fast, but I'm dyslexic, a lot like Angie was talking about. And so I had some fear about, like, I'd always told myself that I couldn't possibly be a writer because, you know, I had this flaw in my brain that was going to keep me from doing that. Though it's never kept me from reading or from, you know, writing business emails. So I thought, okay. And I was in a little reverse harem chat thread with maybe 7 other women, and I had this idea and I pitched it, and 2 of them became my alphas and were encouraging me all the way through it. And then I wasn't really sure how it was going to do. And more people than I expected to enjoyed it and started clamoring immediately for a second book. So that's pretty much how it happened. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you said alpha. So a lot of people watching might not know what that means. Like, what is an alpha? Like, they're not,
Okay,
just burly males that are
burly males. Yeah, they're my alphas.
Right.
Yeah. No.
Or alpha males.
I really didn't know what that was either until, like, maybe another author told me what was going on. I had heard of beta reading, of course, but I really did not know that there were people that were, like, interested in that first pass, that first look at stuff. I actually signed on to be a big author's alpha reader as I was writing Cheating Death, just to kind of watch someone else do it. And she's been so supportive and so sweet. Sam Hall, I love you.
Yeah, Sam Hall. Yeah, she's been on the bestseller, like you said, a bigger author. Yeah, she's had quite a few bestsellers. Yeah,
and she writes really, really fast and really, really clean, which made me feel terrible about my drafts. But yeah, not her fault. She's just awesome. But I kind of got a sense of, like, how you do it. You know, it's all new skills. I'm constantly learning new skills. But I got really lucky, and some of my alpha readers are still kind of with me. I mean, they've stuck with me through a couple of years now, and
well, that says a lot.
Super grateful. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, when I was reading Cheating Death, I picked it up from a rec in the group, and I usually don't tell anyone I'm reading anything until I finish the book, because oftentimes I'll pick up a book and, like, 75% into it or 50% into, I'm like,
it falls apart.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh crap, I've just told everyone I'm reading this book, and it's not really my cup of tea anymore, and now it's all embarrassing. So I don't, or I don't reach out to the author or anything, you know, like, not until I finish it. I'm like, your book was so strong at the beginning. I was laughing so hard. I was doing screenshots, and same thing with you with They Call Me Wicked too, I believe. I was doing screenshots and posting it in the group before I even got close to finishing it. That's how much I loved it for both of your books, which is why I put you guys on the same panel because of the humor. And Angie, I didn't have the group when I was reading Dark Secrets. I was in your group when I was reading Dark Secrets, but we all know I was doing lots of posts there too, you know, so big fan for sure. So before we move on, I was going to ask Angie a little bit about the fact in the past you told me, well, I'll get there in a second. Let me go back to you for a second, Sarah. So you had said earlier that one of the things that you want to be known for is I always say it the wrong way, so apologize, LGBTQ community. I always say LGB or LBG. I always mess it up.
Okay,
it's not
say
ignorance,
LGBT plus is LGBTQ plus. It seems to be, like, expansive. Yeah, it's funny that you should ask me about that today, because I had another terrible review, not to bring this up, but like a 1-star that was like literally it was, you know, my fault. She said something like, my fault for not checking the content warnings more closely and seeing that there was a they, them in it. This book was fabulous to 50%, 1-star. And that's kind of, like, indicative of what I've been dealing with. I really feel very, very strongly about representation. I have non-binary people in my family, and I wrote one of my very favorite characters as a non-binary person, and it has been the single thing that is called out as a negative thing in my reviews over and over again. We joke about how Javier has caused me more issues than any other character. And I wouldn't do it differently, even though I have had some.
No, of course not.
Yeah. It's important to me.
Actually, and I read a lot of Why Chooses, and I think yours is probably one of the strongest poly one that I've read, and it's the only one that's had a character like him in it of all the ones I've read.
there are a few that really work hard on doing that too. I know of a few other authors who are working hard on pulling that to the forefront. I think where my book is sort of interesting though is it's very some parts of it are really familiar and almost mainstream. Sunday, my FMC, she's Southern and she's very, house proud, and she has her big family, and it's comfortable in like a middle America kind of way. And then it's also super gay, and everyone and everyone is falling in love, and nobody gets pushed to the side, and she's good at that. And I think that maybe it's sometimes is a little, people get into it and they think they're getting some kind of book, and then they get a different kind,
Yeah, I think it's also just, what was it, 10 years ago, wide chooses weren't as popular as they are now.
No,
and I think it's just something that's just going to change over time. It's going to be more and more common, so, and good for you for following your gut and your voice and doing it. And, I'm sorry that you're getting that kind of feedback. Readers can be cruel. They can be really bad. We all know that, right?
Yeah.
And reviews can be really harsh. I mean, Angie, you've probably experienced some bad reviews with, not to like talk about bad reviews, but with the love corner, and it's natural, right? Like not natural in a good way, but it happens, right? And you just kind of have
it's mostly like the LGBT stuff. Like I've had reviews where it's like, why do you need to make that character gay? Why is that important?
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, like, because gay people exist, like, so you do get that a little bit, but that's not so much. I think that's just there's just some individuals out there who are against it and probably just shouldn't pick up those books, but yeah. And I suppose those reviews it's good then that people are putting that in the reviews so that anyone who is not going to enjoy that will read that and go, oh, this isn't for me. So 1-star reviews are actually really important. It's something that readers probably don't understand, that we actually do need 1-star reviews, because otherwise people think it's just your family that have reviewed it for you. So it is good to have those there. But yeah, it just warns other readers that might not, enjoy that this is not the book for them. So yeah, that's kind of a good thing to have them, I suppose, even if it does highlight a bit of hate out there. So
it makes me wonder though, like, does it need to be a 1-star review? Like, can people because for me, right, I never give anything lower than 4 stars, just me. You guys know me. I just won't do it. Like, I just don't say anything. But that's just me. Is it really fair to judge an author on a trope, right? Or the fact that they have a homosexual character in the story? Isn't it better to judge the story on the fact, like, maybe I don't like the plot line, or maybe I don't like the writing, or something that's actually more specific? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like when people read Zodiac Academy and they give it a 1 star because it's a bully romance. It's like, well, it's a bully romance. Don't give it. Just don't read it. Like,
it's like hating the nature of the very nature of the book. You shouldn't be reading it if you don't. If this doesn't seem like it's going to be something. I would just say I wish people would read the blurbs a little more carefully sometimes. But I think that Angie's right. I think that 1-star reviews can be helpful. Anyone who reads that review I got yesterday is going to see 2 things. They're going to see that the person absolutely was about to finish the book when this happened and thought it was wonderful, and that they showed their colors more than mine, and that's okay. Yeah.
Persephone, what do you think?
I read the 1-star reviews to see if I'll like it, for sure. And I generally, based on the 1-star reviews, go in, because I just love to hate for other books. Most of my 1-star reviews are like, oh, I don't like raccoons. I mean, okay, that's fine.
It's so silly. It's so silly.
Yeah. I love 1-star reviews. I know it hurts to get them. I used to be I would break down every time I got one back when I first started. And now I'm like so thick skinned. I'm like, okay, I'm going to use that for promo now. Thanks. Yeah. And then I just kind of try to move on. And I don't go on Goodreads though. That's a bad idea.
It's so toxic, isn't it?
It's so toxic. And but I love 1-star reviews. So I guess give it to me.
The tropes list or the content warnings as a shopping list. I've seen that a bunch too.
Oh yeah,
people
I
that are
love a
like,
good 1-star.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, someone told me the other day, what did she say? Whenever she reads the author's note that says that mental health matters. Like if they do this whole trigger author's note and then they said, and your mental health matters, she's like, give me the
I
book.
want to read it. Yes.
Yep.
I'm going in, you know.
I love to
so.
read dark, so yeah.
Well, dark secrets, dark secrets, dark
Yeah.
secrets, dark secrets. Speaking of dark secrets, how many books do you have? Like I was trying to remember that the other day and the whole thing. Is it 15?
It was 15 for the original editions, but because I've pulled all of them down and I'm redoing them to make them what I want them to be, it's going to be 16 at this point because I split one of the books in two. So yeah, so it's getting...
And you're doing a rewrite. So you want to talk a little bit about that to explain for the people watching that are big Dark Secret fans, or for all of us too, for us, you know?
I mean, when I first started writing, I was really timid and didn't have a lot of faith in myself. And I think I listened too much to other people. And every time that I wanted to pull in one direction, other people would say, you can't do that, or I don't like that, or no one will read that. Now I realize actually they would. And I was right. And I should have gone with my gut and just done what I wanted to do. And so the series never sat well with me. I've always been like, it's not where I wanted it to be. And it's too good to just let it go. People say, oh, it's just you've written it, leave it, move on. I'm like, I can't, because this series is like, it's like my soul. I have to fix it. I have to make it what it's meant to be. So I'm just kind of reworking things a little bit. It's not changing the overall plot, but it's just changing kind of the delivery and allowing some of the characters to be how I wanted them to be. So yeah, I'm putting those out, and readers are saying it's like reading a new series, and it's a lot more devastating.
Is it really? I haven't had a chance to do a reread, so
yeah.
Oh
everyone's
my gosh.
loving them. So yeah, so it's been really fun, and it's kind of like it's really cathartic as well to go, this is who I am, this is what I want it to be, and I'm not listening to anybody else anymore, which is a huge growing up thing as well, I suppose. So yeah.
Yeah. You want to tell us a little bit about what it's about for people who haven't heard about Dark Secrets? I mean, they heard me say a little bit about a love corner, but
yeah, love corner. It's really, really hard. Because it's got so many things. They start out in high school in the first book, but they don't stay there. So in the original series, it didn't tell you why David the vampire was at the high school, 100-year-old vampire. What's he doing at high school? But he has a reason to be there. And so in the new editions, we find that out really early. We also find out we're shown a scene, what happens to his vampire girlfriend Pepper before he goes to meet Ara at the school. That scene is there. So we actually see that firsthand from his perspective now, which is brutal and dark. And yeah, so...
you're unleashed now. I mean, you already did some dark stuff with torture and everything, and there's a pretty aggressive scene, I believe, at the end of book 1, and there's torture in book 2, I think.
Yeah, there's kidnapping
it sounds
in
like
one, torture in book 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's mind-boggling for me, one of the reasons why I fell in love with your series, and I think probably everyone else too that knows it and that's watching, I don't know how an author makes someone fall in love with each of the guy and like switch throughout. Like, and you made this love corner go on for 15 books. Mm-hmm. Like you had us love one guy and then hate the other guy, and then love this guy and hate this guy. And then like you made it in, like the first 6 books have like one ending, and you could finish there and be like, okay, I'm happy she ends up with him.
Yep.
Then you have like an alternate universe section, which is insane. Like it's a whole alternate of this had happened in another life. Mm-hmm. Then you have another section where she ends up with the other guy. So it's almost like choose your own ending.
It is, yeah. You can actually stop at book 1. If you're happy with book 1, the way that ends, you can leave it there and run away. Be safe. You don't have to go on, and then you can stop at book 6, and then there's lots of stopping points all the way through. So it's kind of just whichever character you like the most, stay there when they're happy and don't go any further. So. Yeah,
I've often said, like, when you read Dark Secrets, like you think that you're like peeling an orange, and by the time you get to the end, you realize it was an onion. Like it's like I don't know if that's the best. I'd say metaphor like that. It made sense at the time, damn it. But the fact of the matter is that you'll be like in book 15 and find a key fact about book 1. It's just like it's like, how did you you must have one of those like murder scenes, boards up, right? Murder, whatever, with all the spaghetti lines.
It's all
like,
in here, all of it.
Spaghetti.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's very, very, very twisted, very twisted. And if you think you know what's going to happen, you are dead wrong. So yeah,
it's a monster story. Yeah, very impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Persephone. So how did you get the idea to have a blind FMC? What's the story behind that? Who has visions? Because that's pretty cool.
Oh my gosh.
They call me wicked. Like, how did you get the idea? And the trash pandas too, right? Like how, tell us about it.
It was a process. So it started with, I randomly get story ideas in the middle of the night. I'll be dead asleep, wake up and be like, that's brilliant. And I just note it down in my phone and then go back to sleep. And then I'll read them like a couple days later and be like, what? Or that's amazing. But anyways, one of the ideas I had was about a psychic, and the guys kidnap her to try to find their niece. And she's an actual psychic and like whatever. Anyways, then I bought a pre-made cover from Vicious Designs, and I saw on the cover, it was a pre-made, that she had the glasses, and I was like, blind. Now she has to be blind. And then it was like, we're going to go even further. How I was originally, honestly, her sidekick was not supposed to be raccoons. It was going to be an African gray parrot, something that could talk for her and like was super smart. And then I'm like, but I really like raccoons and they can pick locks. So it made more sense. And then it ended up with two of them. And I don't know. It was just like step by step as I started just, I guess, going over it in my brain. And then I started writing. So that's
and
how
she's
she
funny. She makes fun of herself, right? Like through, she makes a lot of blind jokes.
Yeah, she does. She gives absolutely no, I don't know if I can say the F word on here, but she gives none. And he's a complete butthead, and she kind of hates everybody, but also just like cares, but deep down. And I don't know. She's just kind of like that unfiltered voice that I have, and I just don't say all the things I think. So she becomes my unfiltered voice. So.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because like earlier you were talking about how Cupidity really inspired you. Cupidity was the first white shoes that I ever read that got me into white shoes. I had read white shoes before and I wasn't a huge fan for XYZ reasons, but then I got Cupidity and it really hooked me in. And then now I'm like a huge white shoes fan. So I think it's really kind of funny because you had said that earlier and then that resonated with me. But then I gave your book to my mom to read as her first white shoes because she really likes you know where this is going. She really likes crime books, and she likes she reads like Nora Roberts and Danielle Steele and stuff, but also like what's the Nora Roberts pen, the opposite one that does the crime stuff? JD Robb, Nora Rob. Okay, anyways,
no idea.
So anyways, so she so I give it to her thinking, okay, this will be a good, but before I do, I say, Mom, it has some steam in it, you know. And she said, Rebecca, I have been reading for a lot longer than you. I have read Steam, you know. And so I said, okay, all right. So just, you know, because there's like guys and girls, you know, it's like it's more than one person, you know, or more than two people. Sorry, of course, more than one person. So anyway, so she finishes the book. She calls me and she says that she likes it. And I said, that's good. And she goes, but I have to tell you, she goes, I think that book is erotica. It's erotica. Dying so hard. I was like, Mom, it's not erotica. It's not, I mean, it's got great steam in it, but it's not erotica. I think it is, you know? So, yeah, I thought that was a hysterical story, you know? I just
I think, I mean, my personal opinion of my books is that I have very little, you know, sex compared to a lot of other books that I read. So
it's a slow burn. It's not at all like, you know, I've read a lot worse, like a lot, like 60% steam, I've
Oh
read
yeah. Oh yeah.
for me, if a book is almost all steam, I end up stopping and move to something else. Cause I prefer more of a non-romantic plot line in that way for me, but, tons of people, they love, 100% steam, but I've tried them, and yours is a slow burn. So that was funny. That was funny. But you all do steam, all three of you, right? At some point? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. With the poly, for sure. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Lots there too. How do you feel about writing steam? Was it ever weird for any of you?
My first steamy scene that I wrote everything very much in linear sort of order when I was going through Cheating Death. So it was literally like the first, steamy scene we come up on. And I was expecting it to be a little more difficult than it was. I think that it didn't freak me out as much as it did. That first time you're handing it to people and going, read my sex. It's a little vulnerable.
Yeah. Read what gets me going. Right? Because that's not. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I mean, you're absolutely right. It's a little bit vulnerable, and I joke with another author friend of mine that that we're like sex work adjacent, and she thinks that's really funny. But I mean, we are in a way, pandering to that sort of element, and I myself partake in that element, so I don't have an issue with it. But I'm kind of aware of that, and I do try to elevate my books a little bit beyond that, just because it keeps me interested. I put a lot of history, I put a lot of art, I put a lot of other languages into the books because I do love a spicy scene, and my scenes get higher kink as the books go along. And as the guys sort of what they're into sort of comes out, and what Javier is into as well. But the sex scenes are pretty easy for me. I kind of just turn my brain off and go into sort of sensation writing mode. It's like I'm watching a movie and I'm just sort of typing out what I see.
Oh, that's cool. That's a neat way to describe it, for sure. Angie, with your rewrite, are you adding in more spice?
Yeah, way more. Yeah. And being careful as well with because it's a first person perspective book, I do find that when I'm reading back over a lot of those scenes, I've lifted out of the story and I'm looking at it from a different perspective, almost like I'm not in that character's head. So I have to really go back in and try to get it that I'm in that character and seeing things through those eyes, because sometimes I think a lot of authors can relate to this. You sort of lift out and you're looking at it from as if you are like writing a movie, and when it's first person, you kind of have to really bring the reader back into the body and make sure that they're seeing everything that person's seeing with those eyes there, and that they're feeling everything. So I've done a lot more of that, sort of bringing the reader back into it and making it a little bit more. I held back when I first wrote these scenes because I wasn't used to it, whereas now I don't hold back. It's just full dive in. So yeah, it's a lot more sex in it. So, and a lot more detailed as well. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And Persephone, how about, so I remember reading your steam and thinking how hot it was. I thought you had some pretty hot steam. So how do you feel about your scenes? And yeah, just anything that you can tell us there.
Okay, so
does your mom read your spice?
Oh, hell no. Oh my gosh. Does your mom think it's
erotica?
She definitely knows it's there, so she's not allowed to read it. Honestly, writing the sex scenes for me it's like flipping a coin, because if I'm in the mood, it's so easy. I can just, especially a lot of Wicked scenes were very easy. I could just go through it, and I do what I like, and but then sometimes I am just not in any kind of that kind of mood, and I'm just so withdrawn from that side of myself that it's I'm going to wait to the end of the book and I finish writing it and go back. And I did that a lot in the last of the Breaking series trilogy. And I did that a lot in my standalone, where I was just like, you know what? I'm on a roll. I am not in this mood. I'm just going to put gangbang or sex scene between so-and-so and so-and-so, and then move on. And then I come back to it when I feel like it. It can be so hard,
smart.
And forcing
That's so smart.
doesn't work for me. Like, it just sounds choppy. There's no sensations. There's no emotional connection to the scene as well. And I like to have that in my scenes, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah. You know, with the insert, scene here and then coming back, I had a best-selling author tell me recently that that's how she does her descriptions. So like when she's writing and she's got the flow going of the story and she needs to describe what someone's wearing, she puts insert, description of dress here, and she keeps moving, and then she comes back and does all her descriptions. I thought that was really interesting. That's a cool way to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Do you all do that?
I do that.
So maybe that's more common than I
thought.
thought.
Yeah, I add XX to it as well, because otherwise sometimes you can miss those when you're coming back through again, and you can
you want to be able to search it. Yeah,
that's right. So you put something in there that you wouldn't normally have in a book, and so when you search it'll come up. So it's a good way to do it.
So I started writing, right? I think all of you might know that I started writing, and I haven't published yet. I'm trying to write a bunch first. I won't talk about me much because this is about you, not about me. But I did my first scene where I described a male, a naked male. And I was like, it was so bizarre for me. Like, I was fine. I wasn't really embarrassed, but like when I finished writing it, I like messaged all my friends. I just described a male's dog. Like, I don't know how immature that sounds, but I just it was an exciting moment for me in my writing process. So
I will say there is an element of like, you hand it off to people respect and love, like they are a part of your life, and you're like, just so you know, don't let me know that you're reading this, just let me know how it is overall when you're done, because I do get a level of like embarrassment. And then sometimes I'll go to write a sex scene, and then even when I'm writing it, I literally cannot stay serious. And that's kind of how the Ezra scene came out in Wicked. Like a helicopter, it could probably seat 6, because I'm like, I could totally describe this man's, as big as it is, in a very serious way. But you know what? No. So I just had like a bunch of funny one-liners. And I just couldn't help myself, because I can't.
Oh, yes. You just remind me. Yes. You said it. But it just clicked in my head. You had a page. It's one of the funniest things I've ever read, describing how big he is. Sarah, you've been reading her book, right? Have you gotten to that?
I actually read that like 3 days ago. So it's totally like resonant in my brain.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
Really fun. I love when people play with narrative and sort of go off script and find a different way to do. I mean, I just really appreciate that. Yeah, It was good.
Thank you.
It was really good. Just to wrap up this piece, and then we'll move on to something else. I saw in the Author's Corner in the FanGrrrl Romance Recs Author's Corner group, someone was asking about how to write steam, and someone commented that they wrote an article on apparently this author, I don't actually know who it was, but is known for writing their steam. At least that's what they said. And they wrote an article to give people advice on how to write steam. And I thought it was really interesting. They said 2 things, big pieces of advice that I'm trying to take into consideration. And you guys have to let me know if you feel the same way. Number 1, your characters should still be who they are in the sex scene. So you don't just automatically switch into some hot, sexy, spicy scene if that's not who they are outside of it, unless I guess there's like a dom role or something, right? But like they have to feel that one main character is who they are in the middle of the sex scene. That's pretty cool. That's pretty good advice. And then the second piece of advice they said was, if it doesn't get you hot, you're not doing it right.
Yep.
And I was like,
100%. Yep.
Yep.
True? Is that true?
It's true. I have like my husband on standby for when I do those things. So I'm like, just so you know, I'm gonna be here and doing this. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, all right, we'll move on. We'll move on. So okay, so let me see. Let me think here. Angie, you've talked a little about Dark Secrets and said what it's about. Persephone, you've talked a little bit about They Call Me Wicked and what it's about, right? If, like the overall plotline, so people know. Do you want to add anything to that? Because I don't know if you went into more detail, like what the story is about. I know you said a blind FMC.
Oh yeah,
raccoons,
I guess.
Walker.
Mostly I just have to say blind psychic, and people are like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. So she's a blind psychic. She works for the police department. And then there's a stalker who is actually a serial killer that's killing people that have wronged her in some way. So has been watching her and killing these bad people. And she ends up getting assigned the 3 best detectives on the force to like keep her protected and under watch. And of course, you know, it's a Y choose, so they end up together. Super hot.
Very hot.
It's just a duet, and it's focusing on finding out who this stalker serial killer is and what they want. So
yeah. And the cool thing too is like when she's at the crime scenes, because she's a psychic, she can see snippets of what happened, right, with the murder scene. And that's how she knows that they're literally killing someone who bullied her in the previous scene or was mean to her in the not bully, that's the wrong term, but mean to her, you know, in some way.
Yeah, so she does see snippets of the past. She can see kind of snippets of your mind into your mind if you're in front of her and if you're open enough. So yeah, she likes to call out your darkest secrets in front of people. So that's super funny.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's awesome. But I tell you, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Okay. And Sarah, for you, I know we talked about the fact it's like Sookie Stackhouse, it's Polly, but do you want to give a little bit more of a description of like what the overall storyline?
Yeah, I'll pitch it a little bit.
Let's hit the elevator speech pitch.
Sunday Prescott is an empath who can feel people's emotions and can also push them to make other people feel the way that she wants them to. And she is all about staying under the radar and doesn't try to get anybody she doesn't know about the greater supernatural world. As far as she knows, her family in Mississippi and herself and her brother are all just people with extras. And she doesn't really know that there's other types of soups out there. So her brother comes to visit her, and he gets in trouble at a casino for using his gift to win real big. And it's a vampire-owned casino. And so she has to so she leaves her job. She works in an auction house, and she goes in to get him sprung, thinking that she'll be able to just use her gift and waltz through there and get him out and back on a plane to Mississippi, because this is all happening in Las Vegas. And that's kind of how it starts. And by the end of the first night, she is a vampire's fiance, because that seemed like the thing to go along with when she was trying to get someone to do her a favor. That becomes the sticky. And then gradually we meet guards. She rescues a jaguar shifter who's being abused. They're attacked by demons. And then it becomes a sort of a hopping through. They go to Mississippi for a while, then they go to Ireland for a while, and some of it takes place on an island off Italy, and then they end up in Russia for a while. It's kind of a multinational adventure. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's great. Like, you know how I feel about it. It's all, and it definitely has the Sookie Stackhouse vibes for sure.
Right.
And that's what hooked me into it. One of your author friends, I think Mary Bright, had dropped it as a rec in the group, and I was looking for something to read, and I said, Sookie, I love.
Yeah, I like to say
I love True Blood.
I like to say it's a smarter Sookie, because Sookie she's not dumb or anything, but she was very stubborn and did not learn, and was so proud that she couldn't take anyone's help, and it got silly at times. Sunday is she's pragmatic, and she's cute, and she's Southern, and she's funny, but she's well educated, and she has a really difficult background that she's had to get over, and she has her issues, but she's never claimed to be perfect,
Yeah. Yeah.
And she doesn't
Cool.
have to choose at all. So that's good.
That's so
That's
smart.
right. Back to Angie. Girl, we need a white shoes for you, girl. No.
Yeah.
When you do the rewrite, why don't we just throw it in? You know, you could just have like a part
It could be
4, like
another
there's part
Amy.
1 to 6. You've got your In Another Life, right? Then you've got your other ending. Let's just do another one, and we'll just have it. Yeah, and it doesn't.
I
Really work,
almost
does
did.
it?
Like, there's actually in book 6, I think it is. It kind of goes that way, but then something happens. So but it almost
kinda
does.
go that way.
So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, there is the two main male characters. There is a scene that wasn't in there before where she gets to have them both at once, and they are twin brothers. So it's a little controversial, but I think people like
That's
it.
great.
So
we can take that. We can handle that. And times are different than 10 years ago. You know, with books.
Many years
for
ago,
sure.
they were like, no, don't do that. And now I'm like, no, you know what? People are actually pretty twisted deep down inside. We all are. So I did it. And I was like, let's just see how this lands. And everyone's like, oh my God, I love this. So yeah, it's in there.
Yeah. Oh, we just lost Sarah.
She's dropped out.
I'm sure she'll come back. I'll pull her back in when she comes back. So
I just want to say though, one of the things that I've actually found good about the group and about the website, which we're promoting here, is that I didn't know what the words non-con and dub-con were, and I found those. But the great thing is that these words are all on the website. So if you're like, so many people are like, what does this mean? What does that mean? What does akata mean? And now you can actually go to the website and find them, which is really handy. So I thought that was really great. One of my favorite parts of the website, and the merch store as well. I'm going to get a mug.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, I think I have a keychain, right there.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It says, "Don't mind me, I'm just fangirling," and then it has a big kiss on the back. So
that's so cool. We need bumper stickers though.
Say again?
We need bumper stickers to put on our car so we all know when we.
Oh, there you go.
Fangirl.
Yeah.
I need to do. We started doing the merchandise not because I really actually wanted to make any sales or anything, just because people were asking, "Can I have a T-shirt?" Yeah. That's a compliment, So, and also with the book signing events, we all should wear a T-shirt that has the logo on it. So. Yeah. Definitely. No, thanks for giving the website plug there. It is a great, honestly, I have to give a big shout out to Amy Reynolds, who I think is watching the live right now. I think she is my best friend, but she's also a moderator in all of the groups, and she's been with me for a while. She's on the FanGrrrl team now. That's actually what we're calling it. It used to be like, if people wanted to help out, that they would just be moderators, but now like I have like 10 different chats for FanGrrrl teams. I've got FanGrrrl newsletter, FanGrrrl merchandise, FanGrrrl publicity, FanGrrrl book events, FanGrrrl moderation, FanGrrrl admins, all these different FanGrrrl chats. And anyway, so Amy, she's on all of them and she volunteers. And I said, I need a website. And she doesn't know how to build websites. And so she goes, what do you think? And I said, well, I'm going to do Ionis, and I know we need to learn WordPress, but I don't know really much about it. And she goes, I'm on it. And she taught herself and built that website in 2 weeks.
Holy crap.
Then, it's the bare bones. And then we've been adding on to it since. And she taught me. And so now we both go in there and we update things. It's amazing. It's absolutely, and it's beautiful.
And
it
looks great too.
Yeah, it looks super professional.
Brand. Yeah.
It's actually interesting because it's black in the background. And I was thinking, I don't know a lot of websites that do that have the whole background is black. But I've got all my devices set to dark mode now. Like even right now on my other computer, my Facebook is always on dark mode. And everything, on my app. Oh, by the way, look. It's so cool.
Oh, nice. Excellent.
Sorry. Anyway, so I didn't mean to. I was just like, look at my phone. But yeah, so like, and it's just natural for me to have black as the background. So when we were picking everything out, I said, can we do that? And so now it's a black background. I think it's actually easier in your eyes, to be honest. So,
and it looks good with all the purple and the pink. It's very good.
Yeah, the fuchsia, it pops.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It's exciting. I'm in the middle of planning for October. It's honestly not October, believe it or not. 2026 for the book signing event in Orlando. I'm thinking O word, Orlando. And I hope you guys can come.
Yeah.
I know it's far out, but
already planning it.
Yeah.
I'll be pinging you. I'm looking at right now, March, April, or May. So that's actually was top secret up until the second. I told everyone, don't tell anyone what months I'm looking at. And I get warrant, just spit it out. So
Yeah,
March, April, or May is what I'm looking at. So we'll see. I've got a meeting tomorrow with the venue to it's a whole thing. Have you guys been involved with event planning at all? Like on any scale?
A little bit. Mm-hmm.
You have?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. There's so many things that go into it that people don't realize. Yeah.
I'm just like, I mean, literally, I went onto the hotel website and I tried to call them and the number didn't work. I was like, okay. And I went to this form and I entered my information so that they would contact me that I was interested in doing an event there. They made my form entry an RFP, a request for proposal. And then it sent out to all the hotels in Orlando. And then I got a login to a website and I get to go see my status of my RFP. I'm like, people, I just wanted to talk to someone on the phone. Like, this is great. You know? So, and then he sent me a proposal back, you know, like this many stays a night, you have to spend X amount of money in food. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is big leagues, man.
Yeah.
But we'll get it done. So it's exciting. So
yeah. And I'm sure there's lots of people that are willing to help as well to do things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I lots of people, and actually I have I feel kind of uncomfortable saying this, but I'm just going to say it since we're talking about it. I have a donation chat tab on the website for anyone who wants to help with it. And I've already gotten donations. Like people heard that we're having book signings and they're just like, you know, this is really exciting. You know, can I help you? Because people understand that like, it's a big deal. Like a lot of people don't realize you have to put the money up front for these venues. It's not like we sell all the tickets, I get all the money from the tickets and I go put it down on the venue. I have to do it all up front. Mm-hmm. And when you've never done one before, then it's not like you have a pot to pull from. You know, when people start doing book signings regularly, like a Polycon, you know, these people, they make a profit from the book signings and they put it in a pot and they pull from it for the next book signing, you know, but it's that first one that you do. And it's just like, it's tough. You know?
You need to find sponsors. Maybe some sponsors can help with that as well.
I'm actually, that's my plan. I'm going to start looking into sponsors too, you know? Yeah. So, it's just a whole different world, man, you know? And once upon a time, I thought I'd like to be a wedding event planner once upon a time.
Yeah.
And, not anymore. I'll just stick to book signing events.
Are you going to have a masquerade ball or something after it?
Yeah, so there's going to be, right now it looks like, not to give like the complete agenda out because we're still finalizing things, but right now it looks like there'll be a special sessions where people can get access to the authors without huge lines. You know, so there'll be like signing on a Friday where it'll be a limited number of people that can enter. And then that way they have, like a fast pass access to the authors. And then there's going to be early entry for signing. And then there's going to be general entry like normal. There'll be like a ball, you know, and also there's going to be an authors panel. And there's going to be a cocktail hour where authors can meet some select fans and influencers. So excellent. It's going to be great. It's going to be really, really great, you know, and I have a whole bunch of people that are volunteering already. So I'm lucky, you know, and so far, like all the authors I've spoken to are like, yeah, as long as I'm free, I'll be there, you know, so I'm lucky girl anyways, but all right. So before we sign off, because I know we're going about an hour now, I've got a very important question. Super important. It was a question that I asked at the FFB panel when I was in England. I don't know if you guys had heard that I facilitated that, and the Twisted Sisters was on the panel, and Stephanie Hudson and all those. And someone came up and they asked the question to the panel, and I think it's just such an important question I wanted to ask you guys. So, of all your male characters in your books, who would you shag, marry, or kill off?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You realize I was being really sarcastic with the important question. It was supposed to hit you and you'd be like, okay, this is not really an important question. It's just funny.
But it's
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah, because you went into thinking mode. I didn't expect that. You're like, ooh. Would I shag?
Well, my
Would you
instant
marry?
answer is always like, why choose? But you just did the whole kiss, like marry, kill thing. Like,
Now we're having to choose. You're making us choose. It's not cool.
yeah.
Um,
It's hard for you, Angie.
yeah.
Because you've got a love corner.
Yeah, I think I would marry Jace because he's stable. Actually, no, marry Mike because he's very stable. You know, he's not like the rest of them. Shag Jace, kill David.
Okay. All right. Okay. Do you guys know yet or no? You have no idea.
I think I probably would I'd probably marry Thomas because he's an extremely good caretaker. And that's something you would want. I would probably shag Grayson, the vampire, because he's had a lot of experience. And kill, gosh, that's so hard. I like all of them so much. Oh, I know. I'm going to kill Silas, who you guys probably don't even know who that is, but a new character at the end of the last book who is a mess. I'm going to kill Silas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right.
I'm gonna make it easy for myself and just choose like the 3 guys from Wicked. So that narrows it down out of all my characters. I think I would marry Kai because he'd keep me laughing for the rest of my life. And yeah. I would shag Ezra because I mean, like a helicopter, it could probably 6 feet 6, you know, that
I love that.
And then I would kill Nick because our personalities would clash. I'm too fiery too. Him and I would, I'll kill him happily. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so one more thing, and then we'll wrap it up. And I'm specifically asking you 3 this because the 3 of you I've known in different ways through chats over the, some of you, well, Angie, I think I've known you the longest, and Persephone after that, and then Sarah after that, is the time. But I've gotten to know each of you through chats, and I think that all 3 of you are exceptional people. Like, you're not only talented authors, but you're just very good people, and you're kind people, and you care a lot about other authors, and you help other authors. And I think that's just amazing about the 3 of you. You don't see that a lot. I talk to authors all the time. You don't see that all the time. And so I was wondering, for any authors that are watching, do you have any advice for them? Any new authors that haven't started writing yet, or maybe are writing now? Do you have any lessons learned? And I think it's really interesting because the 3 of you have a different experience, right? Been writing different years or a different number of books or whatever. So I would love to hear that. And I'm sure they would too, if you have anything.
Easy. Easy. Definitely find a support system. Find a group of people that you can go through the journey with, because they'll be your cheerleaders. They'll kick you in the ass. They'll also tell you, you're messing up. This is terrible. Rewrite it. And, find honest, good cheerleaders for your corner and keep them around, because I don't think, no matter how successful I thought I'd be or how good a writing is, I'd never be able to release without my cheerleaders, without my corner. So I think that's the most important part.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Great advice. Sarah?
I completely agree with Persephone. It's the same in really just about everything that you might try. It's about finding not just your cheerleaders, but maybe your mentors to some degree. I really I have 2 authors that I depend on so much, and have been incredible in sharing their knowledge and sharing their wins and their losses with me, and being very transparent, so that there wasn't a lot that I had to try to crack and figure out myself. And I've been really, really fortunate. I've said that always in my dedications or my acknowledgments. I acknowledge a big group of authors because I've met so many good ones. So I would say reach out to that author that you love and tell them how much you love their books. Start a conversation. Many of them are, open to talking back and like talking about what they're doing and want you to do well. So that would be my suggestion.
Very good. That's very good advice too as well. Awesome. Angie?
I agree. Try to find people that can support you. However, I will say when I first started out, I didn't have support from anybody. I only found support years later from fans. So you can do this if you don't have support from anyone. And it can leave you feeling really empty because you see all these other authors having all these support networks and all these people that they thank and that they can acknowledge. And you're like, but what about, I don't have that. Like I don't have any author friends that can support me. And so it can leave you feeling really isolated. So if you are that person, don't worry about it. You can still do this. You don't actually have to have that. And you will find that in your fans later on when you start releasing. But I will just say the most important lesson I've learned after all these years is listen to yourself and that gut feeling. When you want to go somewhere with your story and you want to do something, just do it and know that whatever you do, it's actually going to land probably better than you think. Even if it's dark, like even if it's, no matter what it is, just write it. Just stay true to what you want, stay true to your voice and put that out there for people, because then you will find your readership by being honest with yourself and honest with what you want to put out there. So that's my advice.
That's great advice, because at the end of the day, if you write what you want to read, someone else out there probably would want to read it too.
Oh. Yeah,
right?
100%. Yeah.
Oh, it's a very good point, because I did make that mistake with my first trilogy. Is I started writing for the people that hated the first one instead of the people that loved it. And so, that is a very, very good piece of advice. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, thank you. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for coming on and cheering on FanGrrrl Romance Recs and where we're going. It's so exciting. And just giving the time. And Angie, you got up at 3 a.m.? Like, what? So seriously. And Persephone, you were running like crazy just to get here,
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Sarah, I did see your cat there. I know you guys probably noticed my puppy. He came up to you right at the end there. So,
you probably saw my big doofus back here too. He's
yes, I did. We're all fur people, fur friends. So, love the fur people. And Persephone, you said you used to have raccoons. Like you actually had them as pets.
I did. I raised them when I was a little girl. I did. Yeah, wow. They're cute.
That's awesome. All right. Well, hey, thank you guys so much. Seriously, I really appreciate it very, very much. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, you guys have a good night and have a good day, Angie. Get some coffee, girl.